A wheelchair user who went viral for a video showing her struggle to get down a street full of Al-Fresco diners is urging businesses not to forget disabled people in its outdoor seating plans. 25-year-old Katie Pennick's video of her struggling to fit through the gaps between diners in the cluttered streets of Soho has been viewed more than 885,000 times on Twitter. And you can see just literally every few seconds she'll navigate one obstacle and then there's another. And it goes on for over a minute. And one thing that she says about her wheelchair is that it's actually a child's size wheelchair, which measures 23 inches width. An adult wheelchair would be around 30 to 32 inches. So you can see how she's struggling to get through. So that video has gone viral. It's had so much traction on social media with other wheelchair users and people with disabilities. It takes a while for them to even notice her, doesn't it? Yeah, others saying obviously they're finding the same. One person in Derby has said that actually she is on a council committee and this is something that they consider, and if there isn't adequate provision for people in wheelchairs, they won't give a licence for the Al-Fresco dining. Well, she put that out there. In her frustration, it has got people talking. So let's talk a bit more about it. How widespread an issue is this for disabled people? We can talk now to Siobhan Mead from the Guide Dogs charity. Well, I mean, Siobhan, the pictures just said it all, didn't they? Is this something that you have experienced?
Yes, it is, many times actually, and I think over the last month or so, when we see the restrictions have lifted somewhat in terms of restaurants being able to offer people outside seating. So for someone who is totally blind like me, who works with a guide dog, I have noticed so many times now where I have to literally battle my way through, and understandably we're all wanting to go out and socialise with our friends and family, but it's just about asking for space, and just to be aware that we need to be able to navigate safely through familiar streets.
How exhausting is it? Because you're already having obviously to navigate using landmarks like curbs, the edges of buildings, which, that's something that you're used to, but that's obviously something that most of us, others who don't have the disability wouldn't be able to conceive of what you have to take into account. But add into the mix the furniture on the streets and the fact that it's taking people time to even notice that you're there.
Yeah, it's incredibly exhausting. As someone who, like I say, lives with total blindness, and I can speak for many people who have said to me that it actually takes them a lot longer to be able to get through and even being noticed. We understand that many people are kind of isolated or not being able to go out because they're having to kind of find alternative routes, or sometimes it's not even possible to find alternative routes. And it's about just making awareness of how dangerous it can be. And actually it's just looking out for each other, and we want people to be able to enjoy their meals, but equally if we're going within those 2 meters, we're not necessarily keeping to those social distancing. So it's very, very challenging, and we want to do all we can to ensure that people with disabilities are going to be supported in terms of street clutter and furniture.
I mentioned, there's been so much on social media about this, and one comment that caught my eye was somebody in Derby who's on the committee for the council when they consider applications for licences, and actually if the wheelchairs can't get through or there's not provision, they don't get the licences. Does that not happen everywhere?
It's something that I actually haven't heard of, but I'm guessing that maybe moving forward, that's something that potentially could be looked at. But I think it's just a case of, if there isn't enough provision or enough space for people to be able to safely navigate, then there needs to be other provisions in place, because obviously we want pavements to be safe for everyone to travel, and it's not necessarily people with disabilities, it's parents with pushchairs as well. So it's something that I think could be looked at moving forward, definitely.
So in the meantime, what would you say to people in terms of helping to make it easier for anybody that's struggling to navigate these environments, because, you know, maybe people might wonder, you know, how much help somebody might want when they're in a tricky situation.
I think it's about being able to be confident and maybe asking or calling out for assistance if someone's able to assist in terms of being able to safely guide you or verbally guide you through. But then again, it's just a simple ask. I think it's just about allowing enough space for someone to be able to navigate. If you leave enough space for a person who uses a wheelchair, then that's likely that a guide dog or a pushchair is going to be able to safely navigate. So it's just about looking out for each other and supporting in terms of leaving enough space and not actually leaving anything that someone could potentially trip over, like a bag.
Thank you so much, Siobhan. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Known as